Well, let's hear directly from Will Levis, who understands the situation that he's in and the reality. He's in the third year of a slotted rookie contract that pays him $1.03 million this year. As quarterbacks go, that is a dollar for dollar bargain basement contract. That's why he's still on the team and may still be. Here he is talking about his current situation with the Titans.
Anyone who's ever been in my situation can agree that it sucks, and just trying to do everything I can to not let it affect me, and just, being just the same dude every day in the building and being here for the guys however I can and just trying to get better. I haven't been a backup in a while, so don't plan on shifting my mindset at all regardless of what the situation is. So we're just going to, be ready to play quarterback whenever my name's called.
So he says the situation sucks, and it would suck. You go from being the starter, the guy who may be the future, the guy who's got everything moving in the right direction, to all of a sudden they realize, sorry, you're not good enough. We're going with someone else. Oh, and we're not firing you. We're keeping you on the payroll. So you get to witness your replacement, and we'll let you know if we need you. I've been trying to think of a Will Levis specific T-shirt saying. Work with me on this. When life gives you malaise, make mayonnaise. You like that?
It's a little too wordy, though. See,
but he is a mayonnaise aficionado. I had to work mayonnaise into it.
It's too. You know what it is? It's too literary, author. It's too literary. Like lemons, lemonade, boom, boom. It's like malaise. Then you have to say, what does that word mean again? Malaise. Then mayonnaise.
Nothing rhymes with mayonnaise.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to workshop that.
Now Gary's saying try to come up with something that rhymes with mayo. Plenty of things rhyme with mayo, but nothing bad rhymes with mayo. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, we got to workshop that. And we also have to workshop my memory because when I said Will Levis Vanderbilt, I was like, something doesn't sound right about that. No, he didn't go to Vanderbilt. He went to Kentucky. But the point is the same. He's in a tough situation. And, Mike, can you think of anybody so young who's had to deal with it? It's not like he's a 30-year-old quarterback, and then here comes the kid. Hey, now I'll go into the veteran. I'll be the veteran mentor. I'll be the veteran backup, and I'll support the starter. They're pretty much the same age, and now he's got to transition to a backup. I think it's really hard for guys the same age with the same desires for that quarterback room to work. So I just don't see how this is going to be successful.
One fairly recent example I can think of is when the Cardinals traded up to number 10 in the 2018 draft to take Josh Rosen, and then the next year they picked Kyler Murray with the number 1 overall pick, but they didn't make Rosen stick around and be the backup to Kyler Murray. They traded him. That's what's so weird about this. You can find backup quarterbacks. Why are you insistent on keeping Levis around? And we always look for whispers and whiffs and signs of dysfunction. That keeps you in the dysfunctional category when you have 2 years with a young quarterback and it hasn't worked out and your team bottomed out and you earned the number 1 overall pick and you've drafted a quarterback. Most properly functioning teams would get rid of the guy that is being replaced because it's just a weird environment. It just adds weird and awkward into your mix. That's why, I said earlier this week, it's good for the Falcons that Kirk Cousins is staying away from OTAs. It removes the awkward quotient from Michael Penix Jr. trying to take over the team. You still got some of that. I mean, Cam Ward probably is unaffected by it, but there's going to be guys in the locker room who's like, this is weird. And you just want to minimize the reasons for anyone to say this is weird.
You said earlier, what was the number? Was it 1.03?
Yes.
For Levis? That's an amazing number for a starting, a guy who's had starting experience and is clearly a backup now. I'll tell you where he would have been a great fit. Now, they went out and they traded for their backup quarterback because they were intrigued by his upside. Dallas already traded for Joe Milton III. Can you imagine? Will Levis? That would be a great fit for the Cowboys. They're cheap. He's got a cheap contract. He's not necessarily a threat to Dak Prescott. He's pretty good insurance if Prescott doesn't respond to off-season surgery and his rehab. He has any kind of delays. That would have been if I'm the Cowboys, I would have been all over that. That would make a ton of sense for them.
By the way, I did omit something. I looked only at the salary. He also has a training camp roster bonus of $587,000. So the total compensation is $1.617 million for Levis.
Still pretty good.
That is still peanuts. As a quarterback with starting level experience in the NFL goes, that's peanuts. But because that $587,000 is due in the early days of training camp, I think it's possible he gets traded. And look, these teams that have extra quarterbacks, there are teams out there that don't have enough quarterbacks. Look at the Saints. Maybe the Saints call, and they're interested in Will Levis. So I think several teams, the Browns have the glut. I think that there could be potential movement of some of these quarterbacks before camp opens, and some of these established guys who are no longer the guy, they could be on the move. All right, let's take a break.
That would be
when we return. What?
Say really quickly, that might be a fun switch. The Browns, all those quarterbacks, hey, put Joe Flacco in Tennessee as a mentor to Cam Ward and throw Will Levis into the Cleveland Browns quarterback circus. So that'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, and Joe Flacco said earlier this week, and he's gotten the question so many times, he knows the trap of answering the "Are you a mentor?" Because if you say it's not my job to mentor, you look like a jerk. And then if you say, well, I'm trying to teach the guy all the tricks of the trade and make him better, then you look like you're not a competitor. But he leads by example. And I think Cam Ward is the kind of guy who also leads by example and would learn by studying the example of Joe Flacco. That could be something. But you do need a backup, like ideally, who is a seasoned veteran, who knows how to help the rookie get ready. You don't want QB1 and QB2 to both be wet behind the ears. And Levis is still, relatively speaking, inexperienced when it comes to life in the NFL. That's a good thought. There could be post off-season workouts. There could be some quarterback movement, some musical chairs of backup level guys as some of these depth charts thin out, some of the teams that have needs bulk up, and maybe teams will realize this guy here for us would be better off there with them, and their guy would be better off here. That's how it all started when Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Kenny Pickett were traded. Browns-Eagles. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.